So the conflict in the Middle East is massively escalating. Right now, Donald Trump, or the President of the United States, has just ordered 10,000 troops of the elite units of the airborne as well as the Marines to head towards the Middle East. They will be arriving by the end of this coming week, and we are going to see a lot of things happening during that period. I'm Mukund and welcome to the channel, and today we'll be covering what all has happened in this last week and what's going to probably happen this week. And let's see the latest news. So we all know that Donald Trump had given an ultimatum to Iran that unless and until they don't accept his peace deal, he will be hitting them even harder. So I have a copy of, or the screenshot of, that 15-point peace deal that he has given to Iran. Now it's not really confirmed whether this is the real peace deal, but you can see that it is very, very maximalist, meaning the demands that Trump is keeping with the Iranians is a little bit too much for the Iranians to accept. So if you see the first one, which is removal of all sanctions on Iran, we all know that oil sanctions on Iran have already been lifted, leading to a lot of sale of Iranian oil, which is allowing the Iranian regime to get that money to fund their war. Then we have US assistance in advancing and developing civilian nuclear project. So that's relatively good. Then we have the removal of the threat of sanctions being reimposed. So basically, United States is saying that we will not impose sanctions again if it occurs in the future. Iran's nuclear program is being frozen under the defined framework. Frozen, so they are not trying to completely close the nuclear deal, but they are trying to freeze it. Enriched uranium to remain, but supervision and agreed limits. So as we all know that Iran has a lot of enriched uranium which can be used to make nuclear bombs, and there was some conspiracies floating around that during the deal, the Iranians told Witkoff and Kushner that we have enough nuclear material to make 5 to 10 bombs, and that's one of the reasons why the negotiations that were happening with Oman being the mediator really blew up. So then we have the missile program to be addressed at a later stage with limits on quantity and range. So how many missiles can Iran make? What might be their distance? What might be their range? So US will impose some kind of restrictions on what can that be. Then we have the missile program to be addressed at a later stage. Use of nuclear programs restricted only to civilian and defensive purposes only. Not really clear about what does defensive purposes mean, but I think it must be related to some kind of uranium tipped missiles or something like that. Development of existing nuclear capabilities halted. So they don't want Iran to develop any nuclear bomb. So development, the first thing that will happen is closing of development. No further expansion of enrichment capability. So enrichment is when nuclear plants in Iran actually create uranium-235, which is used, or what is called as enriched uranium, which can be used as an ingredient to make nuclear bombs. So they do not want Iran to expand its current enrichment capabilities. I will make a video in the future where I explain on how these facilities work. There is something called as a centrifuge. It has been a lot of controversy around that Iran has a lot of centrifuges that can make that thing. There is some nuclear dust that Trump was talking about. A lot of things related to nuclear science. I will probably, if you want to see that content, let me know. I will probably make a video in the future. So then no production of weapon grade nuclear material on Iranian soil. All enriched materials to be handed over to IAEA, which is the International Atomic Agency, with an agreed timeline. Natanz, Isfahan and Fordo to be taken out of use, destroyed. So you can imagine, how can you tell the Iranians to destroy these three plants, right? How can you tell them to destroy something they've spent years in making? I don't think so. I mean, by looking at the points only, you can understand that it's absolutely impossible that Iran will accept this. Then we have international monitoring and verification mechanisms enforced, gradual implementation tied to compliance, additional regional and security understandings between parties. So this is what the United States has given to Iran. There has been no communication of Iran back to United States, so we really don't know what has been the demands of Iran. The things that have been floating around on the internet is that Iran wants the United States to get out of the Gulf countries, to accept defeat, and to give repatriations for the war damages that they have done to Iran. So that will be very, very interesting to see whether the United States will ever agree to its mistake. And forget agreeing to it, they might even have to pay Iran damages that they have done in the region as well. So we are getting two information or news articles coming out of Axios. So the Pentagon is preparing for a final blow to the Iran war. They have been continuously saying that, we will not be attacking Iran. It's a matter of weeks or not matter of months. We will be stopping the war on Iran. But these news reports coming out does not really make sense. then Trump is basically telling Iran to get serious before it is too late. So he's doing something called as coercive diplomacy, where he's threatening you to accept what he's giving you. It's a very basic bully tactic that bullies do, where they try to threaten you. If you do not listen to what they are saying, they are basically trying to tell you that, I might hit you, or I might cut your country, or I might bomb your country, all of those things. So those are two main reports coming out. So we have the USS Tripoli, which is there. These are two main marine ships which carry, I think, around 2,500 troops on it. They are part of the elite Marines unit. The ship looks like something like this. So you have helicopters on it, as well as you have F-35s. It's a very powerful unit that is heading, and their target, according to news reports, is this island, which you might have all heard about. It's called Karg, right? Which is located. Let me just try to show it to you on the map. So it's located deep inside near Kuwait. It's not even near Qatar or Dubai. And if news reports are right, and the United States tries to target the island of Karg, so you can imagine that there is something called as mission creep, right? So what is mission creep? So mission creep is something when you probably deploy forces in a foreign country, to make sure you defend that island. You have to do other things so that the island does not get attacked while your men are already there, right? So what ends up happening is then the United States will have to deploy its marines and its soldiers deep into Iran, or at least near the coastline. So if you can see the map right there, you will see that roughly we have Bushehr, and Bushehr is the largest city which is near Karg Island. So Bushehr and all these areas that are surrounding Karg Island, there has to be some or the other troops deployed there, so that Karg does not get attacked. So that is called mission creep. Now where do they end, right? Whether if they go in the coast, and they have to keep on going deep down inside, and then you can probably understand that this leads to a full-on war. So we really don't know what's going to happen in that situation. So these two units that I was talking about, we have the USS Tripoli and the San Diego. They will be coming to the theater, basically theater meaning the area of operation, by the coming weekend. So you all must be also knowing that you must be also knowing that United States or Donald Trump has basically extended the deadline to hit the power infrastructure in Iran by the 6th of April. So that's around the time where all of the ships are in place. So he's trying to pressure Iran into accepting what he's saying, or else he'll send the Marines in. Now, whether that's a successful decision or whether he will do it, not do it, how will it happen is something to be seen. But it's going to be very disastrous for the United States if they end up choosing to send Marines to the island of Karg. So there has been 4 targets that I have been hearing online. Though there is an island of Karg which is right there. So this is approximately located around 25 to 30 kilometers from Iran, and around 80 kilometers from Kuwait city. So it's quite close by, and Iran is trying to say that the United States is going to send all these people to Kuwait city, and then from Kuwait city they will be going to Karg, right? So if that happens, Kuwait will be, or the main city of Kuwait will be under immense attack, and there is a lot of Indians and a lot of foreigners staying there. I really feel bad if something happens in that situation. You can see Kuwait city is very small. I mean, the length and the breadth of it. I mean, if I just try to remove the ruler here, let me just try to remove the ruler here. So Kuwait city entirely is around just 40 kilometers long, right? So you can imagine if something happens here in this situation, there will be mass casualties in Kuwait. So that's one island. Then there is a talk about. We have the Keshem Island. Can you see the Keshem Island here? So they are saying that the Marines might take over the Keshem Island so that they can control the Strait of Hormuz. Even that, you can see how close it is to Iran. We are just close to Bandar Abbas, the port. Then we have Larak and Hormuz Islands, which are also located just at the Strait of Hormuz. So there's a very good chance that any one of these islands, the Marines might try to invade, and if they do, it'll be really serious. So this is what we are talking about. This is the Strait of Hormuz. So I told you in the last video that the length of this is approximately. Let me just try to show it to you. It's approximately 50 kilometers at the most easiest distance. So you can see around 50 to 45 kilometers is the length, and out of this, it's only 3 kilometers wide from where ships can pass through. So we'll keep a look at the updates about what really happens in that situation. But things are looking very disastrous. So while I was shooting this video, Brent was near $100 US, and WTI crude was trading around 94, 95. And then now when I just checked right now, it's at $101 US, up 7%. So the oil market is absolutely not listening to what Donald Trump is trying to say, and they're calling his bluff. And if Trump makes this thing worse and things go south in the Middle East, then we might even see oil coming to 140 or 150 US dollars a barrel. So I will keep an eye out, and as and how things update, I will for sure let you know. I'm Mukund, and I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will meet you in the next one.